All right, welcome to our explainer. Today we're going to tear down the pyramid, or well, maybe it's more like we're rebuilding it into a circle. We are taking a full 360-degree look at the circular organizational structure. This is a model that really promises to shake up how we think about everything: leadership, teams, and just getting work done. So let's dive in and see how it holds up.
So what exactly are we talking about here? I want you to picture a pond. Leadership is right there in the middle. And when they set a vision, it radiates outwards, just like ripples, touching every single team in those outer rings. This is so different from a traditional hierarchy, where orders just flow down from the top. Here, the vision and purpose flow out, creating one unified whole instead of a bunch of separate, siloed departments.
To really get the full picture, we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the promise of this model, weighing the good against the bad. Then, we'll get into the engine room, how work actually gets done. After that, we'll cover the human element. And finally, we'll tackle the business case for making such a radical change.
Okay, first up, let's dig into the central promise of the circular model. It's a design that's all about empowerment and agility. But as you're about to see, that very same design can bring its own unique set of headaches.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because you've got this core tension, right? On one hand, there's this incredible potential for teams to be perfectly aligned and super responsive, all because communication is so open. But on the other hand, and this is a big one, that same lack of a rigid hierarchy can lead to some serious confusion. Authority can get blurry, and ironically, decisions can sometimes get slowed way down. Let's really focus on the upside for a second, because when this works, wow, it really works. Teams feel connected to a single mission, not just their little corner of the company. Leaders aren't some distant figures at the top of a chart, they're right there at the center, totally accessible. This structure empowers teams to make their own calls, which lets the whole organization pivot on a dime. It's literally built for continuous improvement and creates this powerful sense of collective ownership.
But of course, there are some pretty significant pitfalls. All the new lingo, circles, roles, it can be really confusing at first. And without a clear boss, who gets the final say when two teams just can't agree? If every single decision needs consensus, you risk getting stuck in analysis paralysis. And maybe the biggest hurdle of all, managers who are used to just giving orders really struggle to become coaches, and that can create huge bottlenecks.
So that brings us to the engine room. How does anything actually get done in a company that basically redefines the whole idea of a boss? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of workflow, authority, and accountability.
Well, for starters, the way information moves is completely different. It's not a one-way street from the top down. Think of it more like a two-way conversation. The vision flows out from the center to get everyone aligned, but, and this is crucial, feedback and real-world insights flow back in from the teams on the front lines. It's a brilliant design for breaking down those information silos.
And this leads to an absolutely critical concept. Authority isn't hoarded at the top, it's distributed. The idea is that the people closest to a problem are the ones who should be empowered to solve it. So a marketing circle gets to decide its own campaign strategy. An engineering team picks its own development process. This isn't just a nice idea, it's the core operating principle that makes the whole model agile.
But if everyone has power, who's responsible when things go wrong? That's the million-dollar question, and it requires a totally new approach to accountability. This table lays it out perfectly. It's no longer about one manager being responsible for everything. Instead, you have specific roles with crystal clear accountabilities. So when something goes wrong, the focus isn't on who to blame, it's about which role's accountability wasn't met and how the process can be improved. It's a huge shift from finger-pointing to collective learning.
And the whole idea of a boss gets a major upgrade. You're not reporting up a pyramid. Instead, you have these coordinators or lead links who act like hubs, connecting the different circles and making sure everyone's aligned. Their job isn't to manage people, it's to manage the flow of work between the circles. It's a total shift from command and control to a networked system of collaboration.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the human element. What does it actually feel like to work inside one of these things? This is where we get into the real-world impact on company culture, careers, and just the day-to-day employee experience.
This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of the cultural shift. The entire system is designed to create a sense of empowerment. It's really built on a foundation of trust, giving employees the autonomy to take real ownership of their work and make an impact. And that leads to the question that's probably on your mind right now. If there's no ladder to climb, what does a career path even look like? How do you grow? How do you get ahead in a system like this?
And here's the answer. Advancement isn't about getting a fancier title. It's about expanding your impact. You grow by taking on new, more critical roles in different circles, by mastering new skills, and by becoming a more influential voice in the organization. So you're not climbing vertically, you're expanding laterally.
This dynamic pretty much creates a powerful filter for talent, right? This structure is a magnet for people who are self-motivated, who are entrepreneurial, and who thrive on autonomy and a shared mission. But it can also repel high achievers who really prefer the clarity of a traditional career ladder or just can't stand consensus-driven decision-making.
For our final section, let's get down to the bottom line. Is this structure just some fascinating cultural experiment, or does it actually make business sense? We're going to look at strategic fit, the costs, and what it really takes to make this thing last.
A circular structure is definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution. It absolutely excels in dynamic industries that depend on innovation and collaboration. Think tech startups, creative agencies, or mission-driven nonprofits. But in highly regulated fields where strict efficiency and a clear chain of command are everything, it's probably a really poor strategic fit.
So what about the cost? Well, it's not necessarily cheaper. Sure, you might save some money on middle management salaries, but that money just gets reallocated. It becomes an investment in training, in facilitation, in governance processes, and in all the tech you need to keep everyone connected. It's just a different kind of operational overhead.
But here is where that investment can really pay off. This structure is built for change. It scales beautifully. You just add new circles as the organization grows. And its readiness to pivot is incredibly high, because teams are already empowered to adapt to whatever the market throws at them without waiting for permission from the top.
Now, making this model last takes real discipline. It all starts with involving your employees from day one and creating obsessively clear definitions for every single role. It demands a strong governance process, and maybe most importantly, it requires leaders to be coached to let go of control and learn how to guide from the center. It's a living system, and it needs constant feedback to survive.
So this brings us to our final thought. The circular structure really forces us to ask a fundamental question about the way we work. Ultimately, is your organization designed to maintain control, or is it designed to unleash collaboration? The answer to that question tells you everything you need to know.